Ladies and gentlemen, this is Robert Gibbons. I'm on my Faith Art Walk series, and I ran into a beautiful soul. State your name for the audience.
I'm Frida Jones.
Hi, Frida. How are you? How are you?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling hopeful.
Thank you. Frida, thank you so much for just being my lifelong friend and always supporting me. I just support your work. I want you to talk a little bit about how we met.
We met at Langston Hughes House. It was run by a group of artists, and the main person, it was Free Thought Thursdays with La Bruja.
Yes, it was. Yeah. And so we've been friends since then. And I've known you as a very just grounded, kind of just maternal, just nurturing type of energy that surrounds you. And I want you to talk a little bit about your work as a playwright today.
Yes.
Okay.
So I published a book called The Midnight Ride,
Mm-hmm.
and it's poems and monologues. And in 2021, I received a grant,
Yes.
a City Arts Corps grant, and I used the monies to develop a cast. We did some casting, and we auditioned, and we got a group of people, and we did a table read performance
Mm-hmm.
at Padre Plaza
Right.
in the South Bronx.
Awesome.
Then
Mm-hmm.
in 2022, we continued the momentum, and we did a lot of rehearsing, and we did a table read scene exposition
Mm-hmm.
at Open Jar Studios on 48th and Broadway. It's really successful. We were able to invite people who would be of interest in
Right.
producing the play.
So let's talk about some of the challenges for a playwright that you can share with my audience. What are some of the challenges that you face as a playwright?
Okay, the big challenge is that it takes money to properly pay all your support. This is not, if it's not underneath a university, it is, you have to rely on a producer.
Mm-hmm.
So in my case, the second part, after the first grant, I self-produced with the interest of trying to procure either crowdfunding or a grant. Well, you sit down between the lighting tech, the sound engineering,
Nice.
paying your artists,
Right.
the actors,
Right.
the director, and consultants.
So
It's quite expensive.
right. So you're saying that it takes a lot of funding to really support the initiative of producing a high quality play. Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about that. So, what's the name of the play that you're trying to produce right now?
It's called The Midnight Ride.
Okay, give us a little pitch. Give a pitch for my audience, for somebody that might be listening about the play. Give us a little synopsis of what that play is about.
Well, there are three words. One is trauma.
Mm-hmm.
In a certain sense, the characters of this play find that they're united. They're from diverse backgrounds, ethnicities, races.
Gotcha.
And they find they have all experienced trauma of some form.
Okay.
In structure, the play is about 7 characters
Gotcha.
that
Mm-hmm.
meet on a subway
Wow.
station on the night of June 4th, 2020.
Right.
It's the night where police clashed with Black Lives Matters protesters.
So that's the overarching concept. The Black Lives Matter on the train that night, and so this is the scene that is being set. Is what you're saying.
Right. And so
Huh?
they're all coming from different parts. They're all
Okay.
trying to get home,
Right.
and they're kind of stuck
Right.
because there's no trains.
You gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So they get a chance to really go deep,
Uh-huh.
and they find trauma, and they find they've had loss,
You got-
but they've also found joy
Uh-huh.
because they're able to share how the original Bronx culture
Right.
has given them tools for survival.
Right.
In case in point, Nurse Dottie used to be, she's coming from Lincoln Hospital,
Right.
but she used to rap when she was younger.
Good.
So she has a poem where she's claiming her power as a woman.
Right.
Meanwhile, the transgender is coming from the ball.
Mhm.
Transgender woman
Mm-hmm.
is coming from a ball where
Right.
she walked as a fashion,
Right.
you know, she was displaying her ability to.
So some of your
walk fast.
concepts are healing. You said trauma. What are your other two concepts that you can share with our audience?
Unity.
Unity.
They find that they could find a place to unify.
Right.
Um, there's one aspect that happens, a little bit of action that happens is that a young man was made homeless after the death of his mother.
Right.
His name is Logic.
Got you.
And
Love that name.
he is actually robbing people just to survive.
Yep.
So he has snatched the purse
Right.
with all the winnings
Right.
from Gianni, who's the person that just came from the voguing ball.
Gotcha.
And she's very upset. She went to complain to the police, and the police mistreated her and disrespected her.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So you said trauma, you said unity. What's the third concept? Healing, right?
Well, it's healing because later on in the play, one of the characters is the newly elected Bronx Borough president. And he makes promises that he's going to have programs to protect transgender women,
Right.
To stop domestic violence, because there's an incident where the nurse was upset at an incident where a young woman was killed
Right.
by a domestic partner.
Gotcha.
And he's made promises. So part of the trajectory of the play is that Dottie confronts Reggie, the newly elected Bronx Borough president, and tries to hold him to make good his promises.
Okay, good. Let's move on. Now, so talk to my audience about the faith in your work. Talk a little bit about, we talked about the challenges, but let's talk about the vision of your work. Let's talk a little bit about the vision of your work.
Well, first of all, I'm a person that I have a lot of love for people.
Gotcha.
I mean, that
You
sounds
do.
kind of flower child,
Yeah, well.
but I am a person that's trying to bring a message of unity.
Exactly.
I come from a blended family,
Right.
virtually, and I just have had kindness shown to me by just about everyone.
Gotcha.
And I want to remind people
Gotcha.
that this is a resource. Humanity
Good.
has that kind of resource.
Exactly. Let's talk a little bit about how can my audience get in contact with you if they want to know more information about your play. Well, how can they reach out to your Instagram, your website? What are your handles?
My website is being developed.
Uh-huh.
It would be The Midnight Ride, the play. And I am at Gracefully Jones.
I'll have it in the bio. Okay. Gracefully Jones.
So I do have, depending upon my funding, I'm going to be actually seeing. I have a vision for the future for doing a short film.
Right. Okay.
And if so, it will be live streamed.
Right. So give us your handle, so we won't lose it. Give us your handle. At Gracefully Jones.
Yes.
At Gracefully Jones. Okay. And so you have what's Frida's vision?
My vision is to be heard, to be seen, and for a woman's standpoint, I have a specific standpoint as a woman, and my color comes into it. This is a racially diverse play,
Right.
but because I'm a black woman, it's going to be from a black woman's standpoint.
Exactly, and that's powerful. That's
And
powerful.
the Bronx, I wanted to tell you that
Quickly.
the Bronx is it's not a complete artistic desert. The resources are few and they're very competitive.
Right.
And we need more here.
Yes.
This is a play that gives tribute to the cultural contributions of the Bronx. And whether it's known or not, they just did 50 years of hip hop.
Right.
They had a big concert. But no matter where you go in the world, people know of the hip hop that started in the Bronx.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, one last piece of inspiration for my audience from Frida Grace Jones.
So listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of rap revered.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Frida Grace Jones. Let me get it.